Hello everyone, this is Martin. Welcome back to another weekly video update on the trading opportunities that I'm looking at from May the 15th to the 19th. We're going to be looking at all the major currency pairs and look at the different levels and get some trading ideas in just a second. First of all, I want to wish all the mothers out there a very happy Mother's Day. I'm going to be looking forward to spending some time with my own mom. She's still here with me, and it should be a great time. And again, to all of you out there, enjoy Sunday, May the 14th, Mother's Day. Okay, so for this week, we're looking at all the different markets, and they are mixed. Okay, so by mixed, I mean some pairs are going up, some pairs are going down. There's no real rhyme or reason for what's going on right now. Um, there is some politics involved. There's the bond market in that, like for the American bond market, which also affects currency pairs. Well, it affects the U.S. dollar, which in turn affects the currency pairs. There are questions everywhere for this week. We're going to look at that, and when I say mixed, what we're really going to be looking for, we're going to be looking for evidence to support our trading decisions, whether they be buy or sell signals, but that's what I mean by mixed. Mixed means that we will have to look for clues and evidence to see which way the pairs could go to give us the best odds for entries. Okay, and before we do that, now I'm going to switch to the disclaimer, which is really important. Part of my job is to issue this risk disclaimer, and this is really important. Mainly, the video presentation you can see here is for educational purposes only. The other thing that's really important is even though I provide you some very important information as to trading ideas, my views, my opinions can change at any time depending on what goes on. So I'm only producing this video at the end of the week for the next week that's coming up. But again, information may change, the variables may change, which would cause me to change my opinion on some of the content that I'm providing you with today. So just keep that in mind. And lastly, view this video at your own risk. So whenever you decide on a trading entry, it's always at your own risk, and you are ultimately responsible for your own actions. Okay, so with that said in mind, we're going to tackle the very first currency pair. Okay, here we're looking at the Euro USD daily, and you can see the price pattern here is very interesting. Uh, Take a look back at this area right here where my mouse is. We've had a huge gap up, and then we kind of went sideways between the upper resistance zone, the lower support zone right here, and as of last week, you can see price with the French elections came down in a big way, all the way to support right here. And now it had a big bounce up on Friday off support, right back at the resistance here. Now, what's interesting is if you look at this from a weekly standpoint, from a weekly point of view, and I'm gonna switch this chart to the weekly, okay? And just waiting for that to happen. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in. Okay, there. Take a look at this price pattern. It's something we don't see that often in Forex trading. It happens a lot more frequently in equities trading, stock trading, and things like that. But take a look. We had the previous week, remember, just ignore this for a second. It says here daily, but I've switched this chart to a weekly, okay? And this is a weekly bullish candle. You can see that at a big, so the 2 weeks prior, 2 weeks before, we had a huge bullish candle. And then all of a sudden, last week we had this huge bearish candle. There's actually a name for this formation. It's called the dark cloud cover candle. And it's interesting because take a look. Here's the close, the high of the previous week, but it opened up higher. In other words, it gapped up really high here on the weekly chart, and it's come in to close more than 50% of the previous candle's body, okay? So this is kind of a dark cloud cover. Generally, when this happens, we have a further bearish move to the downside. It may not happen right away in the first couple of days, but it certainly looks like the euro could be heading down, then finally closing this gap right here. You see between this large bullish candle and here this resistance zone. So there's a gap here. So at some point in time, price will come down far enough to close this gap. Let's switch to the daily again, okay? And this is what the pattern looks like. So in the short term, price may go up just a wee bit. Remember, we are sitting at resistance, so caution there. If we believe price is going to go higher in the short term, we want to take a buy above 109.50. Okay, so that's what we want to do above 109.50. If it actually goes higher, it could go then all the way up to here. And let me just zoom out a bit. You can see we are in a channel right now. Okay, you can see price going up and down in a channel. So if price does go higher, it could possibly come all the way back up to this major resistance zone. Okay, so that's what I see there. Caution, however, the weekly, again, as a reminder, on the weekly candle was a dark cloud dark cloud um, candle, and that usually indicates further bearish movement. It may not happen in the first couple of days. Okay, now we're going to switch to the British Pound USD. You can see price has gone up, 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 and then all of a sudden we get to this area here, and it's starting to round down again. Here's a kind of a rounding top. Okay, so I'm using a lot of technical terms, but we are involved in technical trading. It is, it is my pleasure to educate you to some degree. You don't have to know everything, but this is kind of a rounding pattern right here. It's a reversal pattern as well, but we are contained within this box which I put up. It's a rectangle, I should say, and with this, when price is being going sideways like this and contained within this like rectangle area, it is consolidating, and we kind of have to just wait to play this pattern out. Price could either break to the upside, okay, or price could break to the downside. Again, it's a wait and see situation. And if we believe that price is going to go higher, we would look to buy above 130.10. Above 130.10. If we believe price is going to go lower, we want to take a sell trade below 128.20 to the downside. Let me just take that off for a second. And the last thing I want to mention is that on the weekly candle, there was a big bearish engulfing candle. So again, this is really important. I do this quite often. I switch to the weekly to get further clues. This is the daily. Let's ignore this for a second. It says daily. I'm going to now switch to the weekly. Okay. And there we go. You can see that little rectangle I've drawn in. Okay. But take a look. Let me just zoom in a bit. Okay. There we go. You can see that this is one huge bearish engulfing candle. And on the weekly, it indicates that most likely there'll be further movement to the downside. Obviously, price could come down to this level right there to the downside. And again, if I switch that to the daily, you'll see this. Let me see. Yeah, so the price could come all the way down to about here, okay? Um, or at least, let me just draw in another line, okay? I mean the first, oops, sorry. the first area of support would be there. If it breaks this, it could come down much further as well. Down, take a look again, down to this area right there. Okay, so that's what I see, and that this is what I'm looking at. Again, we're waiting for a breakout. This time we're waiting for a breakout, further evidence below or higher. Okay, let me just take that all off the chart. And now let's move on to the Australian US daily here. This is an interesting one in the sense that we've had major move to the downside. You can see the MACD blue line is below zero. It's curling up a bit. We are in, this is a 1, 2, 3 candle pullback. However, take a look. Friday's trading session, we had kind of a bearish hammer right there. Um, or it's kind of a bearish move. The buyers tried to push price all the way higher up to here, and have it closed above the 8, but sellers brought it right back down again. So it's kind of a bearish, almost doji right here. So sellers seem to be in control. Uh, Also, look at all these big black candles right here. Very few white candles showing that sellers are in control. The Australian dollar is tied into the commodities. Some of the commodities in Australia are weak right now. Weak data coming out. So this price for this pair could seem to possibly roll over and then come back down to test support over here. So if we believe price is going to come down lower, then we want to take a sell below 0.7364. 0.7364 on the downside. Okay, that would be, down here somewhere. Okay, and that's what I see there. Now we're going to get to the to gold really quickly, and understand that the Australian currency is tied into gold. So here we had a pullback. Let me just take that off. This currency pair was in a pullback phase. Gold is also in a pullback. So you can see the same thing is happening, after a massive down move. Now it's pulling back. It looks like it depends what happens here on this chart. Technically, if the next day or so price closes above the 8, then price could certainly go higher up to this 50 SMA. But if not, then price will come back down, retest this long-term trend line right here. Okay, so that's what I see for gold. And of course, if gold comes down lower, that's also going to take the Australian. That's going to make the Australian currency weaker as well. So let me just get rid of that for a second. Let's move on to the New Zealand USD. Now, again, we have had a massive pullback on Thursday's trading. Again, this is the daily here. Okay, so you can see. I forgot to do something. Let me move this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, right here. So this line, for those new traders, new subscribers from around the world, this line tells me the end of the previous week. So the Friday of the previous week, and then we have this first little doji candle right here. So this is the very first trading day of this new week, which is a Sunday, Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, huge down day. Friday, a little bit of a doji. So here, price certainly seems to be going lower. We can see the MACD blue line is curling down lower, and it's below the zero. So my bias is to the downside. Um, and you just got to wait for you just have to wait for the evidence. If we believe price is going to go lower, we can take a sell trade below 0.6814, 0.6814 to the downside. Okay, now next we get to the let me switch to US CAD. Okay, take a good look at this pattern again. So we had a huge up move. In fact, here's my crosshair tool. Okay, drag it from the low to the high. Look at the middle number. The middle number is 5725. That means it moved up. You just ignore the last digit. So this currency pair, the US CAD, has moved up 572 pips, starting with about the 12th of April. Okay, so it's made a massive move up. Now it's consolidating and it's within a wedge or a triangle. You can see here's the lower trend line, upper trend line. And with this pair, what we want to do is wait and see, wait for the evidence. Again, the Canadian currency is tied into oil, so we're going to take a look at oil in a second. If oil is weak, then that means this currency will go higher, because the CAD, the CAD part of this the pair is weak, and obviously meaning that the U.S. is strong. Okay, the opposite is in effect here. So we're waiting for a breakout above the upper trend line or below the lower trend line. Again, wait and see situation. My bias is to the upside, but again, we'll have to see and see what happens with oil. Okay, so if we think price is going to go higher, then buy above this gray, the gray resistance zone. Okay, if we think it's going to go lower first, then we want to take a sell below 136.36. Okay, really quickly, I'm going to switch to oil. So you can see oil has been coming down. It also made a huge, massive move down, which has led to the massive move up by the US CAD currency pair. But now it's in a pullback. And again, we're sitting at kind of a resistance area. See this trend line right here? Just follow my mouse cursor. This is a long-term support trend line. Okay, so again, we broke the trend line to the downside. Now it's just coming back up to retest this area. And again, the currency pair may come up a wee bit, but then fall right back down again to at least this area right here. Okay, it might go up from here. It might come down then, but again, this is what could happen in the short term. Okay, so let's take that away. Now we move to U.S. Swiss franc. Again, with this one, we want to wait for the evidence. Look at this huge move on Friday. This is the last Friday's trading session. Huge bearish move. And now it's sitting at support. But let's just take a look to the left here of this last week's price action. Take a look to the left. You can see price had been contained within a triangle. Here's the upper trend line, lower trend line. Price has been going up, down within the triangle. Finally broke out right there. Okay, it broke out right here and went higher. Now it's gone down, and it possibly could just come back just to this area and then go right back up. So what we want to do is wait for further evidence, wait for the bounce to happen. When I say evidence, we want to look for one good bullish candle to the upside before getting in. And if we believe price is going to go higher, then buy above 10050, 10050. Okay, and how do I get to that? Well, I look sometimes, or I often look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, let me just remove that. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart for a second. Now, this is daily. Just ignore that for a second. Here's the 4-hour. Okay, and this is what I'm looking at on the 4-hour. Okay, looking for a break higher, looking for this price to turn around. It could come down just a wee bit, but look at the confluence here. First of all, here's the 200 moving average. Here is the 50 right there. Here's the trend line. That's a lot of confluence. Here is also previous support. So this whole area right here is just a major area of support, and I believe price could go much higher, and we're looking for a buy above, let's take a look, 10050. Okay, why do I say that? Because we want to take a buy above here. So wait for price to come up, and again, take a look. This is also previous on the 4-hour chart. This is an area of resistance. Okay, so price has to break higher above previous resistance right here before we can say that price is going to continue going higher. Okay, so that's why I say above 10050. And if we believe it's going to go lower, then obviously we want to take a sell below 0.9974, 0.9974, which is somewhere down there. Okay, if we believe price is going to go lower. Okay, so that's what we see there. Um, and finally, we move on to the US Japanese pair. And again, take a look. This is last week's trading right here. The five days of trading, the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, this is the end of the previous week on the previous Friday. But take a look to the left what's happened. Price had been contained within a huge bearish channel. So down, up, right? Contained within the upper trend line, lower trend line. Finally, right here, it broke above the trend line. It's went higher. It's coming back down now to test an area of support. So this is it's in a pullback phase. So we had been in an uptrend. You can see the MACD, the blue line above the zero. So this is an uptrend and momentum to the upside as well. So finally broke the trend line. It's coming back down because price can't go up forever, right? It has to come back and retest support, and that's what it's doing right now. So we want to wait for evidence. We want to look for one good white bullish candle to the upside, okay? And it all depends on whether, see this right here, this is the 8 EMA. If price breaks below the 8 EMA, let me just take that off for a sec. There we go. Okay, see this right there. Price is now sitting at this trend at this EMA. It's the 8 EMA. If price closes below the 8 EMA, it's going to go down lower and retest the next area of support, and where it could then go higher. But again, if this holds, price may from here just go higher from here. Okay, so we have to wait and see. If we feel price is going to go higher, we want to buy above 113.84. 113.84 we want to buy, take a buy trade. If we believe price is going to go lower, then we want to sell below 112.90. Okay, 112.90, which would be here. Okay, so that's what I see coming up for this week. Hopefully you've gotten some good information on this on this webinar, and hopefully this will help you in your trading decisions. Perhaps your trading idea is a little bit different than mine, but I'm just trying to give you some support and help. And if you need any further information, please feel free to contact me anytime. I will get an email back to you as soon as possible. So take care. Happy trading. Happy Mother's Day this Sunday, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye for now.